we connotate, we connect the word stress to a negative experience in our life, negative emotion, right? But yeah, like there is actually two kinds of stress. There are actually two kinds of stress. Eustress and distress. Eustress stands for positive stress, and distress stands for negative stresses. Welcome to Small Talk, small conversations with huge impact. My name is Alec Cuenca, and I am your host for this show. And if you are already a part of this growing community, if you are already following me on TikTok or on Instagram, or if you are an avid follower of this podcast, then welcome back to the show. I am really happy that you're here with us right now. And if this is your first time listening to the show, if this is your first time listening to the podcast, then welcome. I welcome you to this journey of self-growth and self-improvement. I hope that you continue to join us in this growing community and help us in figuring out all the lessons that we need to learn in this life. So again, welcome, and I am very, very grateful for each and every one of you that is joining us in this episode right now. Again, thank you all so much. And yeah, now let's head on to our topic for today. And today we are going to talk about how to remove all your problems in life. And I know that you're probably attracted, or you probably clicked this episode because of the title. And okay, let's just jump right in. This is how you remove all your problems in life. You ready? You can't. Okay, I'm really sorry. I probably built. Okay, that was an anticlimactic build for the podcast, but yeah, you actually cannot remove all your problems in life. But the thing is, that shouldn't be a bad thing. Why? Because problems are nature's way of telling us that we are undergoing a change in our life. Where there is problem, there is pain. And I've talked this a lot of times before. Pain helps us find our purpose. Pain is nature's agent of teaching us what we need to learn in our lives. For example, if you touch a sizzling plate, you know that you won't touch it again. Because you've experienced pain. You feel that burn in your fingers. And then you know what your body is capable of doing, of handling. And this is the same with physical, mental, financially, all the pain that we are experiencing. It gives us a chance to learn a new thing about ourselves and help us in making better decisions in the future. Right? So the pain that comes from the problems that we have can actually be a good thing. And even if we want to remove all our problems in our lives, we technically can. Maybe if you're a believer like me, hopefully we all go to heaven, and maybe in the afterlife we can experience a life without problems. But in this life, in the life that we are living right now, there is no possibility where you won't have any problems. Give a name, any name. Let's say Steve Jobs, right? Or Steve Jobs dead. Of course, if you're dead, you don't have any problems anymore. But I don't know. But Bill Gates. Bill Gates is probably one of the richest man. Probably Jeff Bezos is the richest man, but Bill Gates is one of the richest man in this world. Do you think that he don't have any problems? No. And we could actually put in a way that he still has money problems. Right? He don't know how to allocate all his wealth, how to divide all his wealth. He still has a lot of money problems, where it's the same with for a middle class person, that which is us, we think about how we're gonna put food on our table tonight. We have money problems. That's the same with Bill Gates. We both have money problems. The only difference is Bill Gates has better money problems. And that's what I want to teach you right now. Instead of aiming to remove all the problems in your life, you should always strive to have better problems. One night, I was so stressed. I was chilling downstairs, and I was talking to all my cousins, and one of my cousins told me that, and I was saying that, guys, I'm really stressed. I'm really stressed about things right now, and blah 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 blah. And one of my younger cousin said that, Kuya Alec, there are actually two kinds of stress. We connect the word stress to a negative experience in our life, negative emotion, right? But Kuya Alec, there is actually two kinds of stress. There are actually two kinds of stress. Eustress and distress. Eustress stands for positive stress, and distress stands for negative stresses. And I was very intrigued, so I searched for that, and I found a page that showed me, that defined eustress and distress. This is cascadementalhealth.org. I'll link it down below. If you want to learn more about it, you can go check it out. But yeah, again, there are two types of stress: the eustress and the distress. And I mentioned earlier that stress is the body's response to changes that create demands. Dr. Lazarus suggested that there is actually a difference between eustress, a term for positive stress, and distress, which refers to negative stress. In daily life, we often use the term stress to describe negative emotions. This leads us to believe that all stress is bad for us, which is not true. Eustress, the positive stress, has the following characteristics. This motivates us. This helps us focus our energy. It's somewhat short-term and is perceived as within our coping abilities. This feels exciting, and ultimately it helps us improve our performance. Can you imagine that the word stress can improve our performance? We are never really raised like that, but I was really interested in this concept, so I dug more. In contrast, distress or negative stress has the following characteristics. This causes anxiety or concern. This can be short or long term. This is perceived as outside of our coping abilities, meaning that we don't know how to handle those stuff. This feels unpleasant. This often decrease our performance, and this can actually lead to mental and physical problems. That is the stress that we are all used to connotating with the word stress, right? But I realized that that's actually true. There will always be time, every single day, we get stressed. But there are actually some stresses that actually lead us to this feeling of happiness and peace and love. Some of the positive personal stressors, or the eustress, include receiving a promotion or raise at work, or starting a new job. Right? This is what I'm really excited to share. For example, you're working hard to solve all the problems that your boss tasked you. You did your best to solve all the problems that you have for you to get that promotion. And you get that promotion, right? You got promoted. Did the problem stop? Did the problems disappear? No. Now you have better problems. And that's the same with marriage. Let's not start with marriage. Let's start. You want to ask a girl out. That you have this problem. How do I ask this girl out? That's your problem. Now you solve that. She said yes. Now you're going on a date, right? And after she said yes, you're now thinking, What am I going to wear? Where will I take her? What am I going to say on our first date? You got 3 more new problems right now. Do you get the point? Your problems, when solved, create more and more problems. And that's the thing. We shouldn't aim to remove all the problems, but we should aim for better problems by solving the problems that we have in our lives. I really believe that happiness in life comes from us being able to solve the problems that we have. Keyword, solve. I'm not saying that your happiness depends on the problems that you have. No, I know a lot of people that have a lot of problems, but they're not happy. Why? Because they don't know how to solve them. You got to take into account, and I've learned this from Mark Manson, that if you want to be happy, then you got to be able to solve the problems that you have. Key word is solve. Right? I want you to remember that. Not because you have good problems that it mean you'll have a happy life. But if you're able to solve all your good problems, then you will become happy. And one thing that, this is going to be a short episode. I want to record more and more episodes so that you can binge listen to all my thoughts in one sitting. But yeah, I've read this quote that breakthroughs come from breakdowns. Our strengths come from our struggles. And our purpose comes from our problem. Our purpose comes from our problems. Our passion, our purpose in life can only be found if we are able to choose the problems that we have. I'm not saying that when you figure it out, you can now choose the problems that will enter your life. No, there will always be problems that you won't know how to handle them. But if you're actively choosing what type of problem you are going to deal with, it's gonna lead you to your happiness, to your purpose, right? For example, me. I am now creating content. I'm now trying to motivate, inspire people through the different channels like social media, like the podcast and TikTok, because I experienced a lot of problems and I was able to solve them. And now I want to help other people solve their problems. Right? I found my purpose in being able to solve the problems that I had. And that's what I want you to remember. You need to find your type of problem. You need to find better problems that you would be happy to solve. And you would be stressed, but happy stressed to solve. You would be satisfied to solve. A lot of people, they're solving a lot of problems, but they're not happy with the problems that they have. Why? Because they know that they could solve better problems. Because they think that they could actually live a life without solving any problems. No. As long as you're alive, then you will always have to solve problems. The difference lies between you being able to choose what type of problem that you want to solve. Again, I want to share, always remember that God didn't promise us a worry-free or a problem-free life. But He promised us that He will help us get through the problems that we have. Maybe that's the point. Maybe we need to go through every problem that we have, not find a way to remove all the problems that we have. Maybe the only way to live is to actually go through life, through the challenges, through the struggles, through the problems that life gives us. Not over it, not under it, not go around it, but go through it. And that's what I want to share with you guys. I hope that if there is something, I hope that this can, if you're going to take away one lesson in this podcast, it's this: our happiness and our success depends on the quality of problems that we have. It's not whether we have a lot of problems or we don't have any problems at all. No. Everybody will have problems. And only those who are able to choose the quality of their problems are those who actually reach the success that they want to reach and become happy the way they want to be. You see, this is not gonna change very soon. This is how it's always been. This is how it's always gonna be. I think that life is gonna be a never-ending spiral. And if you think that when we solve a problems, we get to a higher position in life, and we climb and climb and climb and reach to the highest point in our lives, that there won't be any more problems. No. That's not the point of life. The point of life is climbing and climbing and climbing and solving all these problems. But the real purpose, the real meaning of living is to actually experiencing the journey of that climb. I hope that we don't take our problems for granted. Again, in this life, either you win or you learn. And hope everybody learns from the problems that we have. Okay, that is for this episode. I hope that this made sense. I really hope it did. If you reach this end of the podcast, again, I am thanking you for supporting the podcast. If you like this episode, then do not forget to leave this podcast a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And please subscribe on Spotify if you are on Spotify, and please follow me on TikTok. I'm trying to reach 300,000 followers. Yes, you heard that right, 300,000 followers on TikTok. It's at Small Talk Podcast. Go check it out. I post daily motivational content right there. And if you're here, that means you really support the podcast, and I want to share something with you. I am almost done with the design of the merch is already finished, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. Just wait for next week, or maybe next week, where I post all the details. And I would really appreciate if you show your love and support by buying the merch that I created. Thank you so much again, and I hope you support this podcast all throughout. Maraming salamat po sa inyo. Talk to you soon. Goodbye.